Hello, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and this is episode 39 of my Billionaire Minecraft series where I will collect 1 billion iron ingots, gold ingots, diamonds, and emeralds using the All the Mod 6 mod pack in modded Minecraft 1.16. In today's episode, I am going to set up some iron ore processing in this new building right here. It is just basically a replica of the 2 other buildings that I built in the last 2 episodes, and it doesn't really have anything in it just yet. So let's get building. So the first thing I want to do is I actually want to set down this modular storage unit because this actually has all the machines that I'm going to need for today. And let's take a look at what is inside. Now this does take a while to load up because there's almost 500 slots worth of items. And I have that many items in here today because the Mekanism machines actually don't stack. And I actually brought 100 of each of them except for, I think, the Electrolytic Separators. I'm not sure if I have 100 of those. But I have a lot of each of the different machines, so let's get started here. So the first thing I want to do is let's take a look at actually what I'm going to be building today. So if I X out of that and type in iron ore here, I'm going to right click here, and then I'm going to be using the mod mechanism to actually smelt this into each iron ore into 3 iron ingots apiece. And the recipe I'm going to be using is the Purification Chamber first. So I do need oxygen. I'm going to make iron ore into 3 iron clumps. The iron clumps will then be made into dirty iron dust. The dirty iron dust will be made into iron dust, and then the iron dust will be smelted using an energized smelter from the mod mechanism. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So the first thing I need to set up is some electrolytic separators with water. So let's go ahead and grab a bunch of these things. I'm not sure how many I want to grab, but I also want to grab some energy cables. So let's grab some of the ultimate, I'm not sure exactly where that is, universal cable here. And let's set these down first, and then we can worry about configuring them. So let's go ahead and set up basically a row of these in the back of the basement here. And these will be to make the oxygen. So the electrolytic separator works through separating water into hydrogen and oxygen, just like in real life. So that's what I'm going to set down first. And so I need to set down a bunch of these machines. And I'm not sure how many I actually will need, but I'm going to start out with 1 row for today. In the future, I might expand this, but I just want to get the base system down so that you can see what's going on here. So there is a row of electrolytic separators. Now I need to give these things water and power. So let me go ahead and blast a hole through this wall here and figure out where I want to run my power from. So let's run it from over here, and we can just run it straight over. Looks like I might need to grab a little bit more of this. And actually I want to blast through right here. So that's I probably already have too much of this laid out. I do. So if I grab my configurator, I can actually pick that up easier. So if I just turn this to wrench mode by shift and then scrolling with my mouse wheel, I changed it to wrench mode, and then I can pick these up really easily. So let's go ahead and seal this back up. I shouldn't need that anymore. And let's just run this over like so. And then I think I'm just going to run it. You know what? I can just power these from the top side, and that should not be an issue at all, I don't think. And I can actually do the water from underneath if I do that. So let me grab a little bit more universal cable for right now. And okay, so all of these have power now. And so I need to get them water. So what I'm going to do is let's let's get rid, yeah, I already laid cable under here, derp. Obviously I'm redoing that. So let's go ahead and grab all this cable back, and I need to make sure not to wrench my machines here because I don't want to pick up the machines. I believe, yeah, it does pick up the machines, so that's a cool little function of the electrolytic separator. But for right now, I just want to pick up the conduits here. So on the bottom side here, I'm going to grab ultimate, and I'm not sure what it's called. So I'm not sure exactly where it's going to be here. So the ultimate mechanical pipe is what I need. And I need some sinks as well, because that's what I'm using for water. Sinks are great because as far as I know, they provide basically infinite amount of water. It's just that you're basically limited by your conduits, how much you can pull out. But sinks are absolutely fantastic. They don't take energy or anything. It's just basically infinite water source. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a sink here. And then I am going to actually have basically 3 access points to that sink for my ultimate mechanical pipe. And I'm going to use my configurator. I do need to scroll wheel it to where it says configure items, and that will work. And then I'm just going to shift right click there and turn these all onto outputs. So basically my throughput should be really, really good with this ultimate mechanical pipe here. And you can see the flow rates right here. So that is pretty fantastic. I think this will be enough water once I eventually upgrade these electrolytic separators. But for right now, I'm not going to worry about upgrading them just yet. I just want to get the system up and running, and then we'll worry about some upgrades. So let's go ahead and make this look nice and tidy. And I think 1 sink should be enough. If that is not enough, I might put a sink on like either end and then have it also export to the system. But what I want to do now is I want to set it up to be dumping excess hydrogen, because we're not going to be using the hydrogen at all. And we are going to idle it when it fills up with oxygen. So I can do this very quick. You know what? Actually, let's just go ahead and configure everything. So on the gases here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up to be output number 2. And that is because the oxygen is the output number 2. And that's the output that we are worried about. We're not worried about the fluids, obviously, because it's input only for this particular machine. Inputting water, and the gases, we just need to output the oxygen to the front side. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to configure all of these off camera, because that is going to take a little while. So I'm just going to dump the excess hydrogen, and then I am going to set it up to export or set up the output number 2 to be on the front face. And once I have that done for all of these machines, I will be right back. So I have all of the electrolytic separators set up, and as you can see, they have all stopped because they are full of oxygen. So let's go ahead and start withdrawing that oxygen out, and then we can start building the top side of this factory here. So I need the ultimate, and actually that's somewhere here in the middle. The ultimate pressurized tube is what I need, so let's grab some of that, and I'm going to be placing it along here, and once the machines are hooked up, you can hear them restarting, and that's because this ultimate pressurized tube actually holds quite a bit of the gas here, and all of the oxygen that these things have produced is now in here. So one thing I do want to take a look at is the electrolytic separators actually do use a considerable amount of power. So each one, even without any speed upgrades, is using 160 forge energy per tick, and that's something I will need to keep an eye on in the future. So the next steps of the system is actually going to be fairly easy, and that is going to be basically chaining some machines up. So I do need to keep the ultimate universal cable. Let's keep a stack of that, and actually I might even need more than a stack of that, and I'll need some of this to hook up the energy. I don't need the sinks anymore, and for right now I don't need the mechanical pipe or the configurator, I think. So let's go ahead and take a look at exactly what order I need to set the machines down. So if I go back to the iron ore here and right click on that, I just need to find the purification chamber, crusher, enrichment chamber, and then the smelter. So the crusher is second, the purification is first, the enriching is, I think, that, and then the smelting is last. So let's go ahead and set this up here. So what we're going to do is that back row, actually the back row can be the smelting. So it'll be smelting, enriching, crushing, and purification. So let's go ahead, and I do need to hook all these up to power. So let's use my flex bore and set this to 3x3, and let's start chunking my floor here. I knew that was going to happen. Knew it. Unfortunately, and fortunately, my tools are super fast, because they are not only really good tools, but they're also enchanted with efficiency. And the unobtainium pickaxe is just insanely fast by default. So actually it leads to a lot of issues where I accidentally destroy things I don't want to destroy, like that right there. So because I have the reach enchantment, I can reach all that. So actually I also need to do this row right here. And I'm trying not to take out too much stuff, but I knew I would. That's not too much of a problem though. Cool. So I need to take out all that because I need to run lots of this ultimate universal cable here. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something like this. And I actually need to grab more of this stuff, and I should have enough of it in my storage unit back over there. Hopefully I do anyways. So basically I'm going to set up a giant line of those machines right there. First off, I need to set down the power, or I want to set down the power. Actually, it might be quicker to do something like this. Yep, I ran out. I knew I would at some point. So I should have enough. Yeah, that should be enough. Yeah, this was the better way to do that. Oh well. So that is plenty of power. Let's go ahead and start grabbing the... Actually, let's lay down the pressurized tube. Basically, I just need it to run into the purifying factories here. So I need to run it like so. And I think on either side, I am going to have it go down and then connect out down there. Actually, that's not going to work over here, is it? Oh, looks like I got a cat hair on my mouse. Let's actually put it right here. And for the sake of symmetry, I'm going to do the same thing over here to where it's actually right here. I'm kind of big on symmetry. I don't know if very many of you guys notice stuff like that, but yeah, probably a little to my detriment, to be honest. But we're just going to run this down and then over. Actually, it might be better to run it up like this, because in the future I will probably need more electrolytic separators down here. I don't think I'm going to worry about it today, but that is definitely going to be a thing. So yeah, that leaves more room for electrolytic separators without having me need to reroute this ultimate pressurized tube here. So let's go topside and figure out... Actually, I know exactly how I'm going to do this. So I have this Supreme Black Hole unit here, and it has 250 million iron ore. And I'm actually going to set that down here. And let's just set it in the corner. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab ender chests, which are really, really fantastic. Basically, all ender chests with the same code. So if you take a look at, it has these bands of wool here. All ender chests that have the same code, which is showing up as 000, which is white, 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 they have the same inventory. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to put one of these ender chests beside that, and I'm going to hook it up, or I'm going to take items out of the black hole unit and put them into the ender chest. So let's grab the configurator. Let's grab the ultimate, whatever it's called. Ultimate, not mechanical pipe. That is the water or the liquid one. Do I actually not have it with me? That would be lame. It doesn't look like I do have it with me, which is, yeah, that's a lack of... Oh, because I had planned to do an ME system and then I kind of pivoted. I'm not going to do an ME system here. I did an ME system at the other two ore smelting areas, but I'm not going to do that today. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to run somewhat close to my main base so that I can use my wireless terminal, and hopefully I can reach from here. So let's just grab some ultimate logistical transporter, and I shouldn't need more than 65. Yeah, I shouldn't need more than 65. It'll be close, but I should not need more than that. So let's just fly back over here. Sorry for getting some stutter, but this is not setting anything up, so it's not super important just right now. Okay, so let's set up the ultimate logistical transporter, I'm just going to do, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 strands here, and I'm going to use my configurator to actually separate these right there. I'm going to have this be output on both of these, and it should fill up this inner chest with iron ore. So that's exactly what I want to see. What I'm going to do up here is I'm going to place down a bunch of these inner chests. I'm going to place them right here on top of the ultimate pressurized tube. And to be honest, I probably don't need to set up as many as I am, but these things are kind of cheap for me, so it's not really a big deal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down ultimate logistical transporters that are going to connect up with the ultimate purifying factories. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to actually separate each one of these into kind of its own little segment here, and I'm going to do that with the configurator once again. So I'm just going to do this. So basically each one is kind of its separate system. It's not an interconnected system here. And that way each one ultimate logistical transporter will feed the ultimate purifying factories. And I believe in the past in a different series I set up a system similar to this, but this one's going to be set up slightly different today. As I have my purifying factories up against my crushers, which I don't think I've done in the past. Okay, so basically, as you see, this is hooked up to this purifying factory. Now what I need to do is I need to set all these up to be extract. And when I add more purifying factories and more of these systems, you'll see that each one is basically its own system here. Each line is going to be, oh, whoops, I did not mean to do that. Did not mean to do that again. I can't count, apparently. Okay, so that's cool. Let's go ahead and set up the sidedness of these machines. And I am going to need to put one more inner chest at the end as well. So what we're going to do with the sidedness, on the top is going to be the input, and then the back is going to be the output. We are going to have auto eject on. And on the rest of these, actually all the machines, I do need to set the auto sort on. Or I want to set the auto sort on. So what we're going to do is on the sidedness of this one, it's going to be input from the front and output to the back. We are going to have the auto output to be on as well. So on this machine, once again, input on the front, output on the back, and auto eject on. And then once these are done, we'll get some iron dust over here, and we're going to do auto output or input from the front, and we're going to actually output to the top. We are going to have auto eject on, and what we're going to do is I'm going to have an inner chest here, but I'm actually going to, oh whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Is that, I think it's going to be sided differently than what, you know what, we can have auto output on. I don't know why I was thinking that we couldn't, but for right now I actually want to turn it off because I want to place down this, and then I want to change the color. So that it's different inventory than the white, white, white. So I actually should have some, yellow dye. Yes. So what I'm going to do with this yellow dye is I'm going to run it over here, and I'm going to, let's do the middle band. And actually I think I have to hold shift and just right click that. So if you look up at the top of the screen, it says code 040 now, rather than 000, and as we can see there's nothing in here, whereas all of the other ones have iron ore in them. So that's going to be fantastic. So let's go ahead and set this up to be auto eject on, and I'm totally blanking on where I need to go. So now we should have iron ingots in here. So what I need to do now, and kind of the last step, is I have the iron system over here. So let's go ahead and come over here and set up basically the reverse system. So this is going to be, if we take a look in it, iron ore, and once I change the code, it'll be iron ingots. So that's pretty cool. And I should have a supreme black hole unit somewhere in here, and I do need to grab, I have several actually, so I need to grab one of these, and I'm going to put it right here. And basically I need to set up kind of the opposite of what I have over there, and we're going to have the iron ingots come into here. And basically I'm separating that so that I don't have any loops or anything, and I actually have two different ultimate logistical transporters to pull the iron ingots into the Supreme Black Hole unit, and basically the reverse over here is true as well. I have two of the ultimate logistical transporters pulling iron ore into this chest, and that's because the throughput on this system is going to be rather impressive once I actually have it all set up. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to set up the rest of the system. So basically I'm going to have a line of purifying factories here, a line of crushers here, a line of enriching factories here, and then followed by a line of ultimate smelting factories, and then ender chests on top. So basically I'm just going to replicate this across the room, and I can do that off camera. Once I have all of that done, I will be right back. So I finally have all of this set up, but now what I need to do is speed up the machines to balance them out. So I think what I want to do is I want to add 8 speed upgrades to each of the enriching factory, the crushing, and then the smelters. But first what I want to do is I want to quiet these machines down. There are muffler upgrades that we can do, but what I'm going to do for right now is just turn off the block sounds because everything is really, really loud with the block sounds turned way up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 8 speed upgrades to each of these machines here. And there's a couple of different ways I can do this. So first and foremost, I can just go ahead and drop in 8 speed upgrades right here, and they will apply slowly, but they will all apply. Or what I can do is I can actually shift click, and as we can see, if I do that, we should have the upgrades in here, and we can check those out. 8 is the maximum amount of speed upgrades, and I should be able to handle all of that in these machines. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go ahead and apply 8 speed upgrades to all of these machines, except for the purifying factory ones. One thing I will need to do pretty shortly is to actually upgrade the speed of the electrolytic separators in the basement, because as we can see, I'm actually out of oxygen. If I hold shift over the pressurized tube, there's no oxygen here, and these machines right now are starving for oxygen. So let's pick up where I left off. So I have 8 there. Do I have 8 here? I have 8 here. I have nothing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add speed upgrades to all of the enriching factories and the crushing factories. I actually already added the speed upgrades to the ultimate smelting factories because I knew that they would be inaccessible once I put the ender chests on top. So I've already done those. I need to put speed upgrades in the enriching factories, and once I have all of that done, I will be right back. So I currently have everything upgraded except for the purifying factories and the electrolytic separators in the basement. And right now I should do the electrolytic separators first because, like I said before, I am running out of oxygen. So let's work on these things. Now the important thing to know here is that these things absolutely drink energy. So I need to be careful with how many speed upgrades I add to each one. I am going to add more electrolytic separators probably after this episode, but for right now, let's go ahead and start upgrading these guys, what I have. So I already have everything configured, I guess. So I do need to figure out how many speed upgrades I'm going to use. So let's start by manually inserting them. Let's do 8. That's going to be way too much, to be honest. But let's see how much energy these things are using. So that's 40,000 RF per tick. That is completely unmanageable. So I do need to pull some of those out. So let's go ahead and let's try 4. Let's see what the energy draw is. It's 2.5 thousand RF per tick. Honestly, that might be manageable. So let's try that. So I'm going to do 4 in each one of these things, and let's see where that gets us. Oh my goodness. And so Ethan started crying for no apparent reason. So let's see if this is okay. So I added either one too many or one too few. Yeah, one too few there. Okay, so a few more machines here. And I'm probably still going to be short a little bit in terms of oxygen here. And I do need to worry about running out of power at this point, because I am starting to draw quite a bit of power at this base here. It does look like maybe we have positive amount of oxygen, but that's only super temporary because I have not sped up my purifying chambers yet. So the reason why I had the crushing factory, the enriching factory, and the smelting factories, I have the same amount of upgrades in all of these because they process at the same speed. The purifying factory actually might process at the same speed. However, for each process, we actually get 3 outputs, and you can see that right here. So the speed up that I need to actually keep everything running smoothly is actually going to be different for the purifying factories. So let me kind of experiment. Let's try 6 to begin with. That might be the balancing point. It might be somewhere between 5 and 6. It might be between 6 and 7. I'm not 100% sure. But let's take a look here. It does look like the purifying factory is running a little bit quicker, and we can tell that because this is starting to pile up with items. So let's pull 1 speed upgrade out and see if that is more balanced. So right now I see 9s and 8s. So yeah, it looks like 5 is going to be fine. Let's try to pull out 1 more. Obviously, wow, that's a lot of power. I did not realize. Holy moly. Okay, so yeah. I'm probably drawing way too much power with this system. So actually, I might not be able to upgrade all of these machines today because 18,000 RF per tick is actually not doable. Because basically each one of these lines, because that one is probably the smelting factory is probably also using 18,000 RF per tick. Plus 18,000 plus 18,000, that would be what? 54? Yeah, I think 54,000 RF per tick. The thing is, this whole base is only generating 220,000 RF per tick. So, I'm already out of power. So let's see. Yeah, I'm already out of power. So I am drawing way too much power per line here. And we can actually see that this machine is basically out of power. So one thing I will need to do is actually reconfigure how many speed upgrades I have in all of these. I might go with, and let's actually take a look. If I were to pull out 2, what does that do? Okay, that makes things maybe more manageable. Let's try to, because these machines right here are the ones pulling most of the power. Let me grab that and also pull out of this. I didn't mean to do that. So it's actually hard to tell what the exact draw is because it's not actually operating because I don't have any power. So one thing I can do real fast is actually sever this connection real fast and let this build up to, oh wow, and it already built up. I did not realize it built up power that quick. Actually, there's a simpler way to do this, and it's not what I just did. It's to come over here and sever the power over here. Okay, so this should build up power, and then eventually once this builds up a decent amount of power, I can connect this back up theoretically, and then I can quickly look at the power draw of the machines that aren't drawing, insane amounts of power, which are the ones basically I just pulled out some of the speed upgrades out of, and then I can figure out exactly what the power draw is going to be. Okay, so it says needed 35.8. I don't think that's right because it wasn't pulling quite that much before. So let's see if this has started spooling up or... Okay, it has, but not very much. Wow, this area is drawing a lot of power. Obviously, I'm going to have to build more turbines. I'm probably, right now, I think I'm probably going to build 2 more. And it's going to be a very simple matter. It's just I have to extend these 2 tubes up and then add floors to have more turbines. So that's not going to be a problem at all. One thing I could do is put 2 turbines per floor, but I already have this one centered. So I'll probably just add 2 more floors, add 2 more turbines, so I can actually deal with the power draw of all of the stuff I'm going to build. And I'm probably going to scale down the speed upgrades to 6 per machine. Let's see if we have enough power yet. I'm going to try it. This might be actually, you know what I can do? I can just separate most of the machines out by doing that. And then let's go ahead and hook this up. and let's see what we're doing power-wise with the machines that are cut down a little bit. So 5,000 RF per tick, honestly, is probably doable. So basically, that'll mean that these three machines, each machine's in a line here is going to use, I don't know, 16,000 RF per tick plus whatever this is using, which is insane. Yeah, I can actually cut this one down as well because I haven't done that yet. So let's try that. So each line is basically going to use 20,000 RF per tick. And that's before even calculating the electrolytic separators, how much they're using for the oxygen, because they're using a lot of power for the oxygen as well. So it does look like that is keeping up. Let's try to actually reduce one more here. And let's see if we keep up. So right now it's at 50s and 49s. So that is very borderline. It doesn't look like it's quite keeping up. It's not actually that much of a problem to add one more. That should be good. Yeah, that should be fine. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up adding just 3 speed upgrades to all of the purifiers, and then I'm going to do 6 for the ultimate crushing factories, the ultimate enriching factories, and the smelting factories, which obviously means I'm going to need to pull out speed upgrades out of these guys, but that's not going to be a problem. And let's go back down here. Let's see how much power we're pulling here. So I have 4 speed upgrades in here. I think that's what I'm going to do for all of these, and I actually already did that, derp. I definitely need to add more electrolytic separators, and I can do that between episodes. But I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode before upgrading everything else. It's already been kind of a long episode, but basically the proof of concept is here. I just need more power generation to get this thing really off the ground. So in today's episode, I set up this system to process iron ore. It is not fully operational yet because I don't have the power to do so. So in between episodes, I'm just going to add more turbines. Like I said, all I have to do is just extend these pipes up and build more turbines. And they're going to be identical to this turbine right here. I will need to adjust the throttle on my reactor to actually get the output that I need, but that should not be a problem at all. If I remember right, my throttle is rather low at this point, yeah. So I have a lot of room to produce more of the sodium and steam, so that's going to be fine. I just need to build the turbines, like I said. So yeah, what I did in this episode is I built this system right here. It uses electrolytic separators, purifying factories, crushing factories, enriching factories, and smelting factories to produce iron ingots out of iron ore. And it does that by tripling the iron ore. For every iron ore, I get 3 iron ingots. And as we can see, I've already made 30,000 iron ingots, and that is with a seriously gimped system because most of it's not running right now because I just don't have the power to do that. So if you enjoyed today's episode, feel free to drop a like down below. If there's anything I could have done better or differently, just let me know down in the comments below, as I do read all the comments. If you enjoy large-scale automation in modern Minecraft, such as systems like this, definitely consider subscribing to my channel because that's what I do. Anyways, signing off, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and I will see you next time.